Let's look at how interpersonal communication can help you to be better at conflict resolution. Conflict resolution, or problem solving, is being able to resolve disagreements and misunderstandings in a respectful way. People with poor conflict management skills are often only able to see their own point of view and tend to discredit the way that other people think and perceive the world. Individuals with poor conflict management skills may often speak harshly to and about others, which can negatively affect their personal and professional relationships. Some of the many key concepts that you will learn about in interpersonal communication that will improve your conflict management skills are consensus building, I statements, paraphrasing, and nonverbal communication. Consensus building means looking for common ground amongst opposing viewpoints. Often, when people initially state their ideas or wants, they focus in on a very particular concern or idea and leave out other details that are not currently at the top of their mind. When two people state two seemingly different ideas or wants, it can seem like there's no way to please both of them. Consensus building involves taking a step back from our immediate wants and needs and focusing on what larger elements or values are shared amongst the opposing parties. This requires patience, an open mind, lack of defensiveness, and an ability to hold space for other people. Once common ground is established, it's much easier to find a solution that is acceptable to both parties. I statements are also helpful in conflict resolution. I statements are best understood in relation to you statements. Let's start with an example of a you statement and show its negative effects. Let's imagine Craig is in a leadership position at work, and he says the following to his subordinate employee, Jenny. "You never contribute in our team meetings. It's obvious you're not really interested in your job." There are several negative effects of you statements like the one you just heard. First, the word you is powerfully charged. Can easily invoke a listener's defensiveness because it can easily comes off as accusatory. When people feel accused, their natural response is defend themselves. This defensiveness can shut down the consensus building we just discussed and hinder any potential resolution or compromise. Second, you statements tend to target the person rather than their specific behavior. This can lead to false generalizations like always and never, as well as criticisms on a person's character or personality. We all make mistakes, sometimes even more than once, but that is different than having a character or personality flaw. Overall, you statements can too easily escalate conflict by reducing empathy on both parties' ends. Because of their accusatory nature, you statements can escalate a disagreement into a full-blown argument, as they can lead to a cycle of accusation and defense rather than a focus on resolution through consensus building. Paraphrasing. Have you ever had an emotionally charged conversation with someone where it seems like the concerns you voiced to them went in one ear and out the other? Paraphrasing is an interpersonal technique that can relimit the possibility of your conversation partner from feeling unheard. Paraphrasing is a display of active listening, where you rephrase or restate back to your conversation partner what they have just said to you, but in your own words. The best way to understand paraphrasing is through an example. Davina is a customer service representative who works at a call center for meal service company. She spends most of her day on the phone, listening to customers complain. Often, these customers are frustrated with the company or the company's product, and they tend to take their frustrations out on Davina by speaking harshly and aggressively to her. She receives a call from a customer who has canceled their meal service, but is still getting charged by the company. To make matters worse, this is not the first time this customer has had to call in an attempt to fix this issue. The customer reports to Davina that as a result of these charges and the company's error, they have overdrafted their bank account and incurred fees from their bank. Davina can tell by the customer's tone of voice that they are highly frustrated, so she uses the paraphrasing technique to limit any further issues. Davina says, "I'm so sorry to hear this is happening to you, and I can certainly understand your frustration. I want to make sure I fully understand what is going on here. You have canceled your membership with our company more than once now, but you continue to be charged for the service. You are losing money and losing time because of our company's error. Is that right? Paraphrasing serves several important purposes. 1. It demonstrates active listening. Paraphrasing is a key component of active listening, showing that you are not just hearing the words, but actively processing the content of their message. 2. Paraphrasing can encourage further disclosure. When someone feels heard and understood, they are more inclined to open up and share more information. Additionally, paraphrasing can deepen a conversation and strengthen the connection between communicators because when a person feels heard and understood, their levels of anger or frustration are likely to reduce. With fewer negative emotions, both parties are more likely to come to a solution quickly. Nonverbal communication. In addition to paraphrasing, having a strong grasp of nonverbal communication can help you to become better at conflict resolution. Nonverbal communication includes body language, facial expressions, and your tone of voice. Sometimes, a person wishes to convey a message or feeling through their spoken words, but their nonverbal communication is not in alignment with their spoken word. For example, let's assume Michael is getting feedback from his more advanced colleague on how to improve at his job. Michael knows it's best to appear open to constructive feedback, especially from someone who has been on the job longer than him. However, while Michael's colleague is delivering this feedback, Michael has his arms crossed over his chest. He is looking down at the floor, and his tone of voice is clipped. Despite Michael telling his colleague, "Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it, and will work on improving in these areas," it is clear from Michael's body language that he is defensive, potentially embarrassed, and does not actually appreciate his colleague's feedback. When we send mixed messages with our spoken word and our nonverbal communication, we can come off as disingenuous or untrustworthy to others. This can cause conflict or make a conflict worse. With a strong grasp of what different nonverbals communicate to our audiences, we become better at aligning the message of our spoken word with our body language and tone of voice. So now you understand how consensus building, I statements, paraphrasing, and nonverbal communication skills can help to improve conflict management. Next, let's learn how your relationships with colleagues, friends, family, and romantic partners can benefit from your having stronger interpersonal skills.